Hello and welcome to the Premier Football Podcast, and in today's video we're looking at runaway league leaders Everton, their world-class manager Carlo Ancelotti and England's red-hot striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Don't forget, before we get started, to smash a like on the video, share the content around and subscribe to the channel as well. We've come on strongly in recent weeks in terms of views and subscriptions, but we really want to get those numbers up to the thousands as quickly as possible so that we can produce content to a higher standard and increase the amount of videos that we can put out a week as well. Now, Everton owner Farhad Moshiri sold his stake in Arsenal Football Club in February 2016 and quickly became majority shareholder at Everton. A long-time admirer of Carlo Ancelotti, following the sacking of Ronald Koeman in November 2017, Moshiri originally wanted to appoint Ancelotti. However, at the time, Ancelotti was reluctant to join another club mid-season, and Everton instead went down the Sam Allardyce route, the save my club from relegation at all costs route. And after some turgid football, Everton finished in 8th place. Allardyce was dismissed. However, Ancelotti then became Napoli manager, and instead Moshiri moved for Portuguese Marco Silva. However, things did not go to plan under Silva. They had a good first season, finishing in 8th place in 2018-19, but on December 5th, following a 5-2 defeat to Merseyside rivals Liverpool, in December 5th, 2019, Everton were left in 18th place, and Moshiri made the decision to sack Silva. Everton moved swiftly, and Ancelotti was named as manager on the 21st of December 2019. There had been good patches under Moshiri's ownership prior to Ancelotti's appointment, finishing 7th under Ronald Koeman in 2016-17 and finishing 8th under Marco Silva in 2018-19. They of course also finished 8th under Sam Allardyce in 2017-18. However, fans were displeased at the style of football, to say the least, and that was never going to be a long-term solution. Consistency has been something that Everton have struggled with under Moshiri's ownership, both Koeman and Silva only having one good season before things really fell apart. And that is something that Ancelotti will have to rectify if he's going to be a success. However, early signs are extremely positive. They were very good under his leadership the second half of last season, and they have started this season in incredible form. Under Moshiri, Everton have spent big. However, it has not always worked out, and some of their transfers have been questionable, to say the least. They bought Yannick Bolasie from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2016 for £22.5 million. Morgan Schneiderlin from Manchester United in the same summer for £20 million. Davy Klaassen from Ajax for £23.5 million in the summer of 2017. Cenk Tosun for £27 million from Besiktas in January 2018. Theo Walcott for £20 million from Arsenal in the same summer, in the same transfer window as they signed Tosun. Alex Iwobi for £35 million, rising to £40 million from Arsenal in the summer of 2019. And Moise Kean from Juventus for £28 million, also in the summer of 2019. Now, out of all those players, the only one who is still at the club on a permanent basis is Alex Iwobi, and he's not even a first team player. He comes off the bench. He will be a squad player over the course of the season, and a decent one at that, but for an outlay potentially rising to £40 million, you want a hell of a lot more for your money than that. He needs to be a first team player, and as I've said, the rest of the players have either been moved on loan or permanently, and those transfers just didn't work out at all. Prior to this recent transfer window just gone in 2020, the only transfer window that could be considered a success was the 2018 summer transfer window, where they signed Richarlison from Watford for £50 million, Luca Digne from Barcelona for £18 million, and Yerry Mina also from Barcelona for £27 million. Each of these three players is now a key first team player. In the case of Richarlison, arguably their best player. In Yerry Mina, arguably their best centre back. And in Luca Digne, one of their most creative players, and a fantastic left back who has a wand of a left foot and is a real asset in terms of his delivery from set pieces. Now under a world-class manager in Ancelotti, who has won pretty much every trophy in Europe that there is to win, and has been successful at every single one of his clubs except Napoli in recent years, Everton now have a massive pull, and that showed heavily in the 2020 summer transfer window, where they signed James Rodriguez from Real Madrid on a free transfer, Alan from Napoli for £22 million, those two players of course having connections to Ancelotti, Abdoulaye Doucouré for £20 million from Watford, and Ben Godfrey for £20 million from Norwich. I have to say, how no one else came in for Doucouré over the past 2 or 3 seasons is beyond me. He has consistently been one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the Premier League. They've invested sensibly rather than heavily in a new midfield that allows them to have a significantly greater control in games and really works to Ancelotti's favour. Under Ancelotti, they now have a manager who can now not only match Moshiri in terms of ambition, but can actually fulfill his dreams of a Champions League finish. With 13 league goals in a difficult 2019-20 campaign, Dominic Calvert-Lewin cemented himself as Everton's first choice striker. A striker who can work hard, run the channels, score goals, link up play, bring others into play, and most of all is an absolute monster in the air. This is the best forward at heading the ball I have seen in England since Cristiano Ronaldo. And there are lots of similarities between the two men in the way that they head the ball. They both, rather than waiting for the ball to come to them, they both leap in a positive direction, which then allows them to generate a huge amount of power and accuracy on the ball, and more often than not find the target and find the back of the net. Both Ronaldo and Calvert-Lewin are tall, they are lean, and they are muscular, and this gives them a competitive advantage over defenders who can often be a little bit more laboured than these two forwards. While the 2019-20 season was a breakout for Calvert-Lewin, he more than doubled his output in the campaign before that. The start to this season has been blistering and nothing short of sensational. He has scored 9 goals in 6 games in league and cup competitions for Everton, including 2 hat-tricks. And just this week, he scored on his England debut a classic Calvert-Lewin header, a 3-0 win against Wales. He has really blossomed from a wiry, hard-working striker who was good in the air into a powerful, complete centre forward with a great touch, predatory instincts, and the best leap and header of any striker currently playing in the Premier League. Having a player like James Rodriguez playing either just behind or just from an inside right position really benefits Calvert-Lewin. James Rodriguez can not only play more incisive passes through to Calvert-Lewin himself, or lovely floated balls in the air to Calvert-Lewin, but his quality of pass to on-running fullbacks and wingers means that there's a greater chance of quality cutbacks and quality crosses coming in for Calvert-Lewin to attack, and it really plays to his strengths to have a player like James Rodriguez pulling the strings just behind him. Given that Everton now have much better players around him, and how comfortable he is in Ancelotti's system and how well he suits Ancelotti's system, it's conceivable that while he might not continue scoring it better than a goal a game for Everton, that he will continue to be a success, and that he can cement himself as one of the league's best strikers this season and continue that form over coming seasons. He has every attribute that a Premier League striker needs to succeed. It's just a question of whether he can continue this form in the long run, but all signs are positive, and they point to Everton have found a really good striker. Everton have stiff competition to achieve their dream of a top 4 finish. However, they have started really well. They have 4 wins from 4 games, and they have a reasonably deep squad as well. They don't have a Europa League to contend with or anything like that, so they can put pretty much all of their focus on competing in the Premier League. And as we've seen from the opening weeks, it's probably there for the taking. The likes of Manchester United look desperately poor. So if Everton could continue this form, they could do what Leicester did last year, or maybe one better, and break into the top 4. And under Ancelotti, they have a manager who has been there and done it countless times. Their next game at home to Merseyside rivals Liverpool this Saturday, and their run of fixtures over the coming 6 to 8 weeks will really show us at what level Everton are truly at and if they can sustain this form. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to smash a like on the video, to share the content around. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and of course subscribe to our social media pages as well. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.